Today, we bring you this video segment every single morning to help you catch up with things that have been taking place in the world of sport that you may have missed out on whilst you were catching up on some all important sleep. Because let's face it, whilst rest is something that all of us around the world need, you need it, I need it, we all really need it. The world of sport, well, it doesn't really sleep. There's always something or the other that is going on in the world of sport, and it can be a little tough to keep abreast with every little development that is taking place in the world of sport. But worry not, that's what we're here for. And let's start off with probably one of the biggest talking points to come out of the second IPL game yesterday, and that is, of course, the captaincy of Hardik Pandya. Now, we discussed ad nauseum about where exactly it is that he's going wrong, but as expected, there have been a few reactions coming in, and we're going to delve particularly on two reactions to start off this morning wrap. One, of course, is what Kevin Pietersen, who's on commentary, has said about Pandya's demeanor, and what it is that Mumbai Indians batting coach Pollard has had to say about Pandya. Pietersen, it must be noted, has actually kind of criticized Pandya for certain things, and we'll get into the details, whereas Pollard has unsurprisingly stood up for the captain of the franchise. Let's first take a look at what it is that Pietersen said. Now, Pietersen said that I think with Hardik, everything away from the game is affecting him so much. He's smiling too much when he does the toss. He's trying to act like he's so happy, but he's not happy. And Pietersen would go on to add that he can understand where it is that Hardik is coming from. He said, I've been there myself, where you're trying to put on a brave face, but it's quite clear that something has affected you, and until you overcome what it is that's bothering you, then there's no point in actually trying to put on this sort of a happy-go-lucky demeanor, go around, be smiling too much. And well, it's no surprise that Pollard has come up with a rather staunch defense of the MI skipper, and in fact, he went as far as to say that he's tired of hearing about this constant chatter. In fact, let's listen to what he said. He said that I'm sick, tired, and fed up of looking to pinpoint individuals. Cricket is a team game at the end of the day. This is an individual, speaking of Hardik, that is going to represent his country in less than 6 weeks' time, and all of us are going to cheer him and want him to do well. And Pollard would go on to add that it's imperative that fans stop giving Hardik a hard time for now, given that in a few weeks' time he's going to be an India player. You're going to be wanting him to be at his best, not only with the bat but with the ball and in the field. Pollard would go on to rather staunchly defend Hardik, saying that this is an X-factor player we're talking about, and denting his confidence is not going to be doing anyone any good. Again, it depends on which side of the spectrum you're standing on, but one thing is pretty obvious is that Hardik, as Kevin Pietersen rightly mentioned, is rattled. He is feeling the heat right now, and it's definitely not a good time to be Hardik Pandya. Of course, no one wants to be that person who's getting the end of all of those boos. And even Pollard makes a point in saying that perhaps you shouldn't be denting his confidence. Maybe you don't need to be booing him all the time. But fans are angry, and they are going to be making their voices heard in this matter, much as certain people would want that they don't. But I mean, that's just the reality of life. They're going to be making their feelings clear, and if Hardik continues to struggle with results, it's only going to make his case tougher. So I do kind of agree with what Pietersen said, in the sense that he needs to stop worrying about that and maybe focus on winning cricket games. Another bit of interesting cricketing news, and this one, well, really comes down to certain people feeling a little bit slighted thanks to what someone has posted on social media. Pat Cummins, who's currently in the IPL and is representing the Sunrisers Hyderabad as their captain, well, he went on to post, he was doing a question and answer session on Instagram, and when someone asked him what is his favorite memory of India, he simply put up a picture of Australia winning the ICC World Cup in the end of 2023. Naturally, something that a lot of netizens noticed, and that triggered a lot of interesting reactions, with a lot of people talking about the fact that he's actually potentially trolling Indian fans, as it were, and that perhaps or other people making jokes of the fact that even after he ended up winning them that World Cup, the Indians are still paying him 20.5 crores to be captaining another franchise. All in good humor, all good reactions, and I do agree with most of the people who are taking it in a more light-hearted sense, because again, it's fair for Cummins to say that that would definitely be his best memory, captaining his side to a World Cup victory at a home World Cup for the opposition, when everyone was expecting the opposition to be walking out victorious. Anyway, we'll switch our focus now from the world of cricket to the world of football. There were a couple of big results in the Premier League and one very big result in the Bundesliga that I want to touch upon. First up, the two Premier League results. Liverpool ended up losing 1-0 to Crystal Palace. Why is this massive? Because Manchester City had beaten Luton Town on Saturday, and all eyes were going to be on Liverpool and Arsenal, who were taking on, let's just say, tougher opposition than Luton Town. And there was an expectation, of course, that if these two teams had won, that is, of course, that if Arsenal and Liverpool had won, then you'd be in for a really thrilling title run with the last few weeks. Unfortunately, both ended up losing. Palace beat Liverpool thanks to an Eberechi Eze goal, and Arsenal, well, ended up going on worse because they lost 2-0 to Aston Villa at home. What that means is that as things stand, City are actually sitting on top of the Premier League table with a 2-point lead and about 7 matches, if memory serves me right, if not 7, 6 matches to go in the Premier League. If it feels like deja vu all over again, then that's exactly what it is, because you've had two teams spend the majority of the season on the top of the table in Liverpool and Arsenal, and yet come the business end of the season, it is in fact City who are sitting on top of the table and with the best run-in of all these teams look very much the favourites to be lifting the title. And speaking of lifting the title, that is exactly what Bayer Leverkusen did for the first time in their history when they thrashed Werder Bremen 5-0 in a Bundesliga match to guarantee that they will be at lifting the Bundesliga, being crowned the champions of Germany for the first time. And it's no understatement to say that the kind of job that Xabi Alonso, the manager, has done at Leverkusen has been nothing short of phenomenal, and it has been a real treat to watch the side, to see how well they have been progressing, to see the kind of football they've been playing and the kind of results they're getting. In 29 games so far this season in the Bundesliga, they've won 25 and only drawn 4. So they're yet to lose in this particular campaign and do stand a good chance of actually going through the entire campaign undefeated as things stand. That would be a monumental achievement indeed. Switching our focus now to some sports beyond cricket, football, and there's some interesting tennis news because the Monte Carlo Masters was taking place, the final was taking place yesterday, and Stefanos Tsitsipas ended up defeating Casper Ruud in straight sets, 6-1, 6-4, to claim what is going to be his third Masters title in 4 years. Safe to say that Tsitsipas really does have a nice little love affair going on with the Monaco ATP Masters event. Whether or not that can translate to him potentially getting a good run in the French Open. Remember, he is the French Open finalist in 2021 but lost out to Djokovic in the final. If he can get one good run in and potentially be in contention for the title, that I think would be something that a lot of people would be waiting for, because again, you've had a Yannick Sinner win a Grand Slam this season, and you'd hope that with a Federer gone, a Nadal's career clearly on the wane, and with Djokovic being the only member of the big three currently still active, that tennis's next generation begins to step up sooner rather than later. And unfortunate news in that regard, if we're talking about tennis, Carlos Alcaraz, you remember, pulled out of the Monte Carlo Masters due to an injury in his right forearm and bicep. Well, he has now pulled out of another tournament, and in this case, it is his home tournament, the Barcelona Open. Remember, he had won the Barcelona tournament previously, but unfortunately, the injury, it seems, is not healed up on time, and therefore, he will not be taking part in the Barcelona Open either. It's a bit of a blow because, again, you want to be playing these clay court tournaments before the French Open, which is going to be starting next month in May. But with Alcaraz, it does seem like his injuries are getting to him at possibly the worst time. Whether or not he recovers from it, something that remains to be seen, but let's see how it is that things go in that regard. And that's it from us in this edition of the Morning Wrap with Sports Today. Thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, we appreciate your company, and stay tuned with us through the day. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like it, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap the bell icon, leave us a comment, follow us also on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Don't forget to download the Sports Today app, and if you're already on the channel, go ahead, check out some other videos we've posted, and once again, stay tuned, plenty more coming your way. For now, from my side though, it is goodbye.